Hey there, I'm Nick, and today I'm going to walk you through how I approach activating leads. Leads are the lifeline of any business, and I'm going to let you know straight up at the beginning of this call or transcript. I'm going to be showing you the method that's taught in the book, Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Leads. This will be in combination with some methods that we've integrated from Ready, Fire, Aim, which is another one of my favorite books, as well as Influence. To show you how to activate leads. Without further ado, I'm going to show you what's called, according to Hormozi's book, the core four. So you basically can separate these things into two categories. That's hot leads, warm leads. Use them interchangeably. These are for our friends. These are people that know us. They've subscribed to us. We have their information. We have the ability to reach out without it being weird in some capacity. Then we have our cold leads. These are strangers. These are people we don't really know. Like, hey, like I never heard of you before. Why are you talking to me? Then over here, there's two different categories of leads. You got one-to-one. That's people person to person, like I'm reaching out to you directly. We're going to be focusing today on one-to-one warm leads, activating the people that we know personally. And then you have one-to-many leads, which is basically you do it in a much bigger way. So not saying bigger is better, but this will include for warm leads, sending content to the people that subscribe to the internet. And in the context of cold leads, this will be sending, basically posting ads to social media. So we're going to focus in on what is the most effective part of this quadrant, which is the one-to-one warm leads. And I'm going to walk you through my method and in combination with Hormozi's method and how I approach doing this when I've got something to sell. So what do we do? The first thing we want to do actually is to make a list. So a list is whatever list of people that you know that you can reach out to. So it's really wherever the majority of your sales qualified leads, the people that you want to target, live. And also can just be your biggest list in general. So if I have an offer for a new AI coaching program, I might go to my phone contacts. I've got about 4,000 of them. And for most of us, that's where our biggest warm leads list lives, which are people whose phone numbers we have. So, but for other people, it might be on Instagram. You might have a significant following there. It might be on LinkedIn because you've been working that LinkedIn messaging button for a long time. And for some of us, it might be our email address. So go to wherever you have the biggest list. And a lot of people then ask me, Nick, what CRM do I use? All the stuff. It's like, don't worry about the CRM if this is your first time doing this. My recommendation is to get hustling and don't worry so much about the organization. So pick a list, go to it, and this is going to be your first couple hundred, possibly even 1,000 leads. So once you go to list, you're going to pick your platform, as I just said, phone, email, LinkedIn, Instagram might be one of those things, and go with that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to personalize your message, and this will be different for everybody. So this is where we go and we re-engage with these people, right? We want to do this in a very genuine way. We're not bullshitting here. These are our friends. These are our warm leads. And what we want to do is make it super easy for them to get back in touch with us, right? So depending on the platform, it might be a little bit different. But generally, like a good rule of thumb is if you're text messaging them, exchange 4 messages before you hit them with the ask. And I'll walk you through what that looks like. If it's a voice note, just hit them with it at the end of the voice note. If it's an email, hit them with them at the end of the email. Be kind, inquire, ask about what they're doing, provide value if you can, and then hit them with the offer at the end. But if it is a phone call or if it's text message, right? Basically 4 messages back and forth before hitting them with the ask. And if it's a phone call, 4 minutes of talk time. If it's an email, voice message, just put that thing in there. Nobody wants to waste their time or get 4 voice notes, 4 emails. This is just not the way the platforms work, but modify it how you see fit. And remember that you are checking in, providing value. You're not there to sell them anything. You're saying you genuinely want to know what's going on. And you do, because these are your friends and you might be able to help them in some way. So we want to create that reciprocal value. And so moving on, we're going to go to reach out. That's actually going to be sending the messages. So how often, what frequency? If you really want to get hustling, I would recommend doing this 100 times a day, which I know seems like a lot, but if you can take a list of 100 people, reach out to them in the method I'm going to show you, is very unlikely that you won't achieve success. And again, we're not selling them. We're actually just asking them a question, and I'm going to walk you through what that looks like in a second. Yeah, and I recommend reaching out 3 times until they respond. And then after the 3rd time, don't be weird. Like, nobody wants to get more than 3 messages. You get those people on LinkedIn with the automations who are like 9 messages deep, and you're like, fuck you, bot. You know, like, just don't do that. These are your warm leads. These are your friends. Just make sure that they understand, they see it, and everybody's got some stuff going on. So my recommendation is 3 times until you get like a no, or hey, I don't have time, or hey, sorry, I missed your message. And don't feel weird about it, because it's good. Because if you are providing real value to them or their friends, everybody wins in this scenario. So how do you approach this? We're going to warm them up. So you basically, once you reach out, you can do something called the ACA framework, which is acknowledge what they said in their own words, comment or compliment them, say, hey, like, great to hear that you're raising that fund for that studio. Like, really great to have more spaces like that in our city. And then ask another question. It's like, what other projects do you have in motion? So I'm leading them to what's ultimately going to be the question we're about to ask. But you want to, just have a rapport, build it up, and lead them towards the next part, which is inviting their friends. And again, we're not selling them. We're going to send them a message, and we're going to say, do you know anybody who is dream outcome, right? So for me, it might be saying, hey, by the way, do you know anybody who's looking for a business coach who doesn't know how to integrate AI? They might have failed at startups in the past. They really are burnt out, have been burnt out a couple times, and they want to do it in the next 3 months without sacrificing another 3 years of struggle. I only have 3 coaching spots, right? That could be just an example of my offer. But you can fill this in. So this process is based on the value equation. This is another Hormozi method. I cover it in some other lectures, but I'll just go back to it now so you get a sense of what this looks like. So basically, what we're looking to do is provide the people that we work with a dream outcome. So this is like, what is the thing that is the dream outcome for this person? What do they want to achieve with your offer, right? So for me, it might be they want to be change the world in a positive way using technology, right? And we're going to basically, that's the dream outcome. That's what we're aiming to achieve with whatever I'm interacting with. And then we want to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. So how do we do that? So perceived likelihood of achievement can be achieved in a couple ways. First is showing proof. It's like, hey, I've launched 15 startups in the past. I know the game. I know their struggles, right? Testimonials. These are all my friends that have really great things to say about me. This can be very easy through a screenshot, posted on a website. It can be in a formal case study. Don't overcomplicate it. Honestly, a screenshot works pretty well. Or you can also do a referral saying, hey, talk to my buddies, Dana, Katya, whoever, right? Next is happy reviews, which is like, hey, I've got 100 people who have said really great things about me. You can check them out there. Next one is certificates and accreditations. This is my least favorite personally, but if you are operating in a space that requires a certificate of accreditation, and for a lot of medical stuff or some other offers there is, make sure to have those. But I mean, certificates, I don't know. I see those things pop up all the time, and I've seen people get ripped off on them. Be mindful and only get the certifications you really need. Next is experts vouching. Be like, hey, my buddy who's also an AI expert, deep learning expert says this and this about me. Hey, this professor at a local university who's super famous in the community says this and this about me, right? So experts vouching in your field, or some unique characteristics they didn't try. It's like, well, they might have failed in the past, but they try using AI to enhance their business, to get their offer off the ground. All right, well, that might be unique. So whatever your unique selling point is, it might be enough intrigue to say, hey, I might try that because that hasn't been a method I've used before. Or in terms of therapy, it's like, oh, I worked with other therapists, but I haven't tried hypnotherapy. Maybe that's something unique I can use. Celebrities working with us. It's like, yeah, if you got some famous friends and they're willing to plug you, great. For most of us, this is not the case. But celebrity endorsements are real. People trust celebrities for a number of reasons that I won't go into. Next thing is you can make a guarantee. It's like, hey, if you don't achieve your first 100K in sales in the next 3 months, money back, right? So you can actually put skin in the game, give a personal guarantee. Obviously, the one I just described is very generous. You can figure out what a good guarantee looks like for you. And then we can demonstrate the outcome live. So it's like, what does it look like when you actually sell your first 100 offers? Like, what is that moment? Like, wow, I fucking did it, right? So those are the ways to increase our perceived likely achievement. So we want to explain dream outcome, right? How do we get that person from the hell, that they're living in, right, into the heaven. And then we want to basically have ready, like, this is why your perception of this outcome is high. And then we want to minimize, this is a division line, time delay. So we're gonna make it super easy. So this might be like, hey, send them a link that they can sign up today. It might be a front end offer where it's like, hey, learn how to set up ChatGPT to supercharge your process in 30 seconds, right? We want to minimize that time delay so that they can get started very fast, make it super, super easy for them to get onboarded. No friction, like NDAs, friction is going to hurt us. And we also want to minimize the effort and sacrifice. Like you don't need to do that much. You don't need to sacrifice that much in order for you to jump in and get going. So that's the value creation in a nutshell. I cover this much more in depth in my courses, but going back to our list, the process we want to follow is going to be following that value equation. And I just want to emphasize that you are not selling somebody, okay? You are basically taking them through, asking them a question. Do you know anybody who is that dream outcome? Describe the struggle and time delay, which is how much time has passed before this happens. And then if you want to add it, you can add the sacrifices. And then if there is genuine scarcity, and scarcity is effective, right? If you limit the number of spots, people will jump on it more quickly. You can follow that method. And remember, you're asking warm leads a question. You are not selling them, because there's 3 ways that the people we reach out to can convert into things that will help our customers, right? First one is they convert to paying customers themselves. This guy actually ends up signing up as my client. Second one is, hey, it doesn't really feel right for me, but I have a friend who'd be really interested. Let me introduce you? Best way to do that, 3-way introduction, get them on the WhatsApp group, get them on the email thread with your friend's face on it, get introduced, right? Just turn a cold lead into a warm lead. The third one is they'll give you testimonial. It's like, hey, you just provide a lot of value. I got a lot of value out of your ChatGPT. Thank you so much, and this changed my life. Take a screenshot, put it into a folder on your phone. If you want to, give them a more formal method, but honestly, screenshots will be fine for the time being. So those are the 3 ways, and when we're reaching out, we're genuinely asking them if they know anybody. And some people might say, hey, that's me, actually. Thank you so much for reaching out. That sounds a lot like me. I would like that product or service. But for a lot of us, that's not the case, and that's okay, because we have these ways of approaching it. So moving on, we've got my screen. Okay, so now that you've invited the friends, you're going to make them the easiest offer in the world. So how do you make it super easy? If you want to make it the easiest thing in the world, make it free, right? And I know this is controversial. I'm just like, free, like that's my thing. It's like, well, if you make it free, make it super easy, you can basically build up momentum. And really what you want to do is you want to start stacking yeses. It's like, hey, the first week is for free, or the first session is for free. And then that way you can get early momentum into the next stages of your offer. And you can just set expectations. Like, hey, use it, give me some feedback, leave a killer review, and then that's the value exchange. Because remember, there's 3 ways to do this. They can leave a review, or they can introduce you to people who might be appropriate for your product or services. So, and you want to get them invested in their results, right? So you want to make it so that there is some level of value exchange, even if it's not in the form of money. But this is generally making it super easy. This also might be, hey, here's the thing in 2 clicks. Here's how you sign up and get started. Not 5 messages exchanged to figure out the calendars and blah, blah, blah. Make it as easy as humanly possible for them to jump in once they get the yes, once they make the introduction, bing, bang, boom, they're off to the races, right? Try to remove as much friction as possible. And then the question becomes when do you start charging? Well, we'll get to that part. So make it easy to also the word, make it easy to say yes, right? And then we're going to go start at the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to make another list, right? It might be 100 more contacts from our contact list. It might be that we've exhausted that list and we need to move to another platform, which might be LinkedIn, it might be Instagram, it might be wherever the most of your qualified leads live. But if you want a pro tip, I recommend just going through the same 100 people that you chose in the first list and making sure you follow up with them 3 times, right? 3 times. Making sure, hey, they're aware of it. People get sick, it's the holidays, it's whatever. Just make sure they saw it and you start that rapport and that conversation. You can also do this, right? If you have them on your contact list, call them up. I luckily have the reputation for calling people, which in today's world is so rare. But make sure they're aware of what's going on and You can reactivate the existing list, and honestly, like if you just keep doing that and you activate those 100 people, you'll probably get a good spot because you have a compound effect, right? So if the ask is genuine and everything you're providing is great, you will have them introduce you to people, leave you testimonials, and you'll build momentum for your new offer or business. So next step is start charging. Generally speaking, when do I start charging? It's like, I would say it's once somebody refers. So let's suppose I did 3 coaching sessions for free. People are like, holy shit, this is amazing. I'm going to introduce my friend. That's when I would start charging, right? When you get a referral from a happy customer, right? They've activated the levels 2 and 3, which is introductions as well as testimonial. That's when I would start charging. And if you want to figure out what the price is, then increase the price by 20% every time. So for the first one, I might be like, yeah, sure, like I'll hop on with you. Here's my 1-week AI coaching offer. It's $1,000. The next referral I'll get, I'll be like, hey, thank you so much. It's $1,200, $1,400. Just keep increasing by 20% until you find that medium. If you want to get very aggressive with it, you can always still try doubling it. But 20% is comfortable for most people. And if you're feeling bold, like double it every time. You'll much more quickly find where you want to operate. But 20% is a good increase on every new person. The next thing is to keep the list warm. I would say when you have a new offer that's been created, I would start spending, frankly, it's going to sound crazy, 80% of your time just activating your one-to-one warm leads. If it's appropriate. Like obviously there's many different types of products, but if you spend 80% of your time just reaching out to people one-to-one, using this equation, and you do this for 4 hours a day, 100 people a day, 100 reach outs, it's going to be very unlikely that you are not successful. That's kind of the warm reach out method. I recommend entrepreneurs employ this for any new offer that they're creating. We'll cover the other parts of this method in future videos. But I just want to get this captured. There's been a lot of people have asked me since our Meet the Oracle course about this specific bit, and they wanted me to double down. This is, obviously, I teach AI, but this is the hustle, right? Like you gotta hop on, we gotta start selling. And this is how you build momentum. A lot of entrepreneurs kind of sit back and they're like, I made the thing, I launched a website and I'm not getting any customers. Well, how many people you reach out to? Because if you're doing 100 people a day, 100 touch points a day, and you're actively engaging them, you're gonna be in a very good spot, right? There's pretty much no way that you can fail if your entire warm leads network is aware of what you're doing, they're aware of the value you are providing, right? And they have an opportunity to plug in your medicine, your magic into the people so that we can collectively create a better world. So thank you so much. I hope this is helpful to you. I'm going to be putting this into my new content creation platform. This is what's known as a lead magnet, right? So send it to your friends. This is free information for anybody and everybody. And if you got any questions, please feel free to reach out. Nick Stroff on Instagram. And I'm sending you so much love today on this beautiful day. Have a great